I'm Tad Flaky, and this is Pointless Global News. On today's show, a dumpster diver for 4 years has no regrets. And then I'll give you the 411 on ancient Roman public bathrooms. Finally, a loosely related story from the modern-day Roman Empire known as Florida. Now the details. Meet the woman who has not done a supermarket shop in 4 years and gets all of her meals from, you guessed it, the dumpster. Her name is Sophie Jewel Anderson, age 30, and she started dumpster diving back in October 2020 while she was living in Sydney, Australia. She started out by taking out just fresh produce from the designated bins, but soon realized that she could get an entire weekly shop right from the dumpster. Sophie now only buys household items such as toilet paper, dishwashing soap, and toothpaste from the supermarkets, and spent just $99 in all of 2024. By sourcing her food from the dumpster, Sophie saves thousands of dollars annually and has used that cash to travel the world. So I guess if you don't mind eating garbage, you get a little benefit from it. Anyway, Sophie, who is a restaurant manager from Aarhus, Denmark, said, "I haven't done a food shop in 4 years." She went on to say that all my friends and family know I dumpster dive. They know the food is as good as I would ever put in my own mouth, and anything I would put in my own mouth I certainly wouldn't give to guests. I assess all the food before I pick it. When we go on our family holidays, we dumpster dive as a family. The food we eat on the holiday is all dumpster dive. Well. If that isn't motherfucking depressing, I don't know what is. In other pointless news, it's known as forike. Ever hear of it? Well, you're about to. It's the definition and the word used for ancient Roman public bathrooms, and they were practical facilities where the non-elites would relieve themselves in ancient times. The forike were open in design, with stone slabs featuring evenly spaced holes for seating, just inches apart. Imagine you're sitting side by side with somebody doing their business, and you probably have time to fist bump each other. You're that close. Well, while the setup might sound intrusive, it was actually integral to the cleanliness of public spaces, at least by ancient Roman standards. Often built near public baths, forike were constructed over a stream of running water, which would carry waste away from Roman cities into nearby rivers. To wipe themselves, forike visitors used a tessorium, which was a sea sponge on a stick. Since users didn't know how diseases spread, the tessoria were likely used and reused by everyone who entered the facilities. Can you just imagine how fragrant it was? I can. The forike were part of the Roman Empire's larger sanitation effort, which included aqueducts and sewer systems, like the famous Colloca Maxima of Rome. Despite their flaws, these public toilets and Rome's early sewer systems represented a groundbreaking approach to urban waste management. However, that didn't mean that they were good for public health. No shit, Sherlock. That's a great little pun, wasn't it? The ancient Romans had a strict system for taking care of their waste. Among the non-elite classes of Rome, public toilets that were connected to an early sewer system were available for people to do their business and even converse with fellow city dwellers if they wished. Many examples of these ancient bathrooms existed all across the Roman Empire. These Roman toilets were specifically built for the poor and enslaved in ancient Rome, so the elites wouldn't have to see the lower classes pissing and shitting in the streets. And so the bathrooms were most often used by male laborers, merchants, and slaves. Today, you pull your pants down and expose yourself, but when you had your toga wrapped around you, It provided a natural protection. So said Ann Olga Kolowski-Ostro, an anthropologist at Brandeis University. She was speaking to a person interviewing her for the Smithsonian Magazine. She went on to say that the clothes that they wore would provide a barricade of sorts, so you actually could do your business in relative privacy and then get up and go, and hopefully you didn't have shit on your toga. The holes were placed above a small stream of water, often fed by an adjacent public bathing facility. This water would flush the waste out of the Forique and into Rome's sewer system. However, the open layout of the toilets and the fact that there was usually filth left behind in the bathrooms attracted vermin like rats and spiders. Users often risked being bitten on their butts by these creatures as they crawled up from the dirty conduits below. Surprisingly, for some Forique visitors, the ancient toilets weren't solely a place to relieve themselves, but also a spot to socialize and discuss politics, sports, and gossip. Ancient games have even been found at some of these sites. Now, this all sounds fascinating, doesn't it? But, I can't help but wonder, how often did someone come and wipe off that marble? Probably not very often. Well, finally, in a loosely related story, on December 18th at a Family Dollar store in Mulberry, Florida, two shoplifters worked together to pull off a cleaning products heist. The Polk County Sheriff's Office referring to the couple as Mr. Clean and Ms. Dookie, until an arrest is made at least. They hatched a plan to distract employees. The man would walk around the store, gathering nearly $500 worth of merchandise, like lots of Gain, Tide, and Clorox products, whilst the woman used the restroom without going to the restroom. That is to say, she took a dump in aisle 7. While employees cleaned up the mess, Mr. Clean walked past the registers and out to a Ford van where Ms. Dookie joined him, and they drove away. The odd couple are still at large. And that's a wrap for another Pointless Global News. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tad Flakey. Stay pointless, my friend.